The map leads you to the ruins of some old town. There are very few houses still visible, let alone standing, but there is one. It is clearly touched by the darkness. Its wooden beams are decayed, its stone foundations blackened, its windows hollow and dark inside. Yet despite this common enough decay, the doors to the house remain intact and shut. You check the door, and there are no traps, but the doorknob has some loose parts that seem sharp and rusty. They could have caused some injury or even disease. You avoid them and open the door. The stale air hits you in the face as you enter. There is a small hallway, unusual for the simple abodes you are used to, and at the end of the hallway, you see the entrance to another room and stairs leading down to the basement. You enter the stairs to the basement and find a candle lying on the floor. You light it and carefully descend downstairs. The chamber is cold and damp. There are spiderwebs and a thick layer of dust. The air is very dry and difficult to breathe. In the center of the basement, you discover a skeleton hanging from the ceiling, and another 4, including 3 children, lying neatly on the floor below. You have heard stories of the old days when the darkness first came, of people who watched their loved ones perish, and of those who took matters into their own hands, not wanting the evil to claim their lives. You hear the wailing of a woman coming from the top of the stairs. You know that the souls of the hanged, especially those who have taken their own lives, may become stuck or even transform into demons. In this case, however, you believe the ghost has attached itself to the house out of guilt and sorrow for what happened. The woman is likely unwilling to leave because this is where her family was before death. You can use a folk ritual passed down by the village wise woman to speak to such spirits and convince them it is time to let go. You barter with the spirit, and you see it change before your very eyes with every hopeful word you utter. The creature seems lighter, less angry, until finally it looks almost alive again. You cannot cure it of its affliction, neither can it cross to the underworld as the cosmic tree remains in ruins, but you feel you have lifted an awful curse from the ghost's soul. The ghost speaks in a cheerful voice. "Thank you, stranger, and sorry I tried to kill you. Well, now that I am all good again, I will join you." You feel like this wasn't a question. The ghost also shows you an old family vault. You enter what you search through. You enter the room, but Ziadi do not turn to you, but one speaks.
Grandchildren have come. You seek our aid and guide. If your body has been wounded by a dark force and will not heal, cursed you are, and you must speak to the... You have proven yourselves to be worthy of...
You enter, but Ziadi do not.
You seek our aid. If your body has been wounded by a dark force and will... You have proven yourselves to be worthy offspring.
You find the tower just as Alice told you. It stands tall, looming over the countryside. Its dark stones show no sign of an entrance, but as you get closer, you see a lone figure sitting outside in a rocking chair. He waves his hand at you and smiles cheerfully. He is an old orc male, dressed in a simple linen shirt and leather trousers with no visible weapons on him. I am Zadra, although it is not a name I have used in a very long time. Too long for your years, in fact. How did you hear of it? Ah, I see you met my Alice. Is she okay? Right, yes. Stupid question, really. I just meant, is she still... never mind. You're right. I have no right to ask. After all, it is all my fault. I was young and a fool. We were in love, but as you see, it was not an easy match. My matriarch banished me from my clan, and so I asked Alice to leave with me. The elves were none better than my own people. They too offered an ultimatum, me or them. Alice chose family and duty. She implored me to stay and fight both our people's backward ways. I did not understand. I was so angry. I sought help from dark forces, and they promised me satisfaction. Alas, all they gave was bitterness and regret. It was not that easy, never is. You see, I was a fool, tricked by my own lust. A creepy-looking old child haunted my dreams for months, fueling my anger and my desire for Alice until it burned so hot I was ready to do anything. The creature told me that if I gave Alice this enchanted ribbon, she would be mine forever, and she would not speak to, nor see her family anymore. I was overjoyed. I did it. She took my gift, but scorned me still. I run to this tower, where I met the creature, and the cork revealed his true nature as it laughed at me. From that day, she is imprisoned in her forest, and I am cursed to never leave this tower. Worse yet, it only appears here once every 100 years for mere days. The ribbon, so you really have spoken to her. I suppose with this damned thing we could actually try to break the hex. I have been studying this for centuries. Let us try. Will you help? Excellent. I do not know if it was Alice's magic or the gods themselves, but I believe you will be our salvation. The orc begins to prepare for the ritual. He takes his clothes off and paints his body with an elderberry extract. He then throws some rock salt onto the ribbon and sets it on fire. The blaze burns red and sizzles with malicious laughter. In the smoke, you see the face of a wrinkled child. see the orc twist and contort as he battles the power of the hex. You see the familiar grey ash swirling around the fire. Then it all stops. The red flame dies. The ash drops to the ground and disappears, and you see a huge smile on Zadra's face. We did it. I am free. Thank you, friends. Now I must go back to Alice and see if she's okay. But before he is able to leave, Alice appears before you all. Alice nods at you. Yes, I am free, although my city is naught but ashes. But I suppose that matters not anymore. As promised, I will give you a blessing of the Silver Oak peoples. If you are worthy, it will give you understanding of magic. My meaning was expressed with all the clarity I am able to give, young one. I will mark you, and the spirits will make a judgment. She nods and bows her head in response. You see Zadra stands by without a word, but there are tears in his eyes. Alice looks at him for a while, then turns back to you. I will ask you as my savior, should I forgive him his folly, or avenge my city and my fate? Alice nods and smiles, then walks over to Zadra, who awaits her anxiously. After an awkward moment, Alice embraces her lover. They disappear together. You discover the remains of an old graveyard. In the center, you see the burnt-down ruins of what could have been a place of worship, likely belonging to immigrants from the Westerlands, as it is not the custom of your people to build such places. You search the graveyard, and among much rubble and forgotten gravestones, you discover a perfectly preserved crypt with some elvish writing upon it. The lid is secured with iron-clad hinges and silver chains. You can read some of the elvish. The soul of a damned beloved rests here. Beware his love's damned power perverted by darkened blood. The rest of the writing is gone. Considering the silver chains, the grave, and the inscription, you suspect a striga of some kind may lay within. Different people call these creatures by different names: strigoi, vampires, and the such. The striga is not only bloodthirsty, it is known to devour your insides too. Worse yet, it is said that the creature's only link to its lost humanity is the love it once bore, and so it haunts its former loved ones and their bloodlines for eternity. You did not think the elvenkin could become one, but who knows? You open the crypt and walk in knowing you'll face a fiend. You charge in before it can surprise you. From the have defeated the Striga. In the coffin, you discover a full set of armor, shield, and weapon that must have belonged to the damned, but alas, much of it is rotten away. Still, the silver chains alone are worth much. You can see the outlines of a tall, single tower, but it is obscured by a cloud of unnatural darkness. The strange grey veil fluctuates, like waves on a stormy sea. If you are to make your way to the tower and discover its secrets, you must first face off against this darkness. You know enough about magic to figure out that the darkness is actually just an illusion, left here most likely by the tower's owner. There are 4 crystals buried around the perimeter to create the illusion, and so you believe the owner is not inside, as they would have had to set them up from here. You also feel the power of the enchantment weakening, thus indicating whomever set it up has not been back to recharge. You know how to deactivate the illusion, but there is always a chance of failure, especially if you don't have a lot of magic users. You spend some time battling with the mystical powers holding the illusion. You feel that with just one final push, you will break the spell for good. The illusion is broken. The menacing waves of dark energy quieten down until slowly they disperse altogether. You now see the tower standing clearly before you. It is a tall, imposing stone-built adobe, with only narrow slits for windows and a large set of ironclad doors. The top of the tower is shaped like a bony hand. The stones of the tower seem untouched by the curse of the darkness, perhaps due to the protective spell, or perhaps there is another reason. You take your time examining the doors and realize there is yet another obstacle, some kind of mechanism protecting it from the outside. It doesn't look too hard to dismantle. As soon as you enter, you realize the tower is not abandoned at all. Within the tower, you are greeted by a familiar face of the old man you saw dying with your own 2 eyes. He sees the shock on your face and smiles.
I do apologize for the parlor tricks, although what you experienced was not altogether a lie. I have mastered the arts of illusion to the point where I am able to project my own image in physical form. It is draining and doesn't last long, but alas, it did the trick. You see, I was trapped here for gods know how long, without means of escape. Only someone from the outside could have broken my prison. Thank you, friend. Now, no need to be snarky. I am grateful for your assistance, and in return, I shall allow you to leave my home in peace. One piece.
The old man smiles, and even though he looks tired and worn out, there is an evil spark in his eye. As you look around the room, you realize that in the corners, hidden deep in the shadows, lie piles of what look like human bones. The old man bursts into hysterical laughter and raises his hands, chanting something in a strange and harsh tongue. He steps back, and in his place, a horde of skeletons and undead bodies lunges at you. You defeat the necromancer. When the old man dies, a dark cloud is lifted from the tower, as if a burden was taken away. You search the place and discover some valuables you can take with you, including many books. On the body of the man, you find an old letter. I can no longer idly stand by while you indulge in your vile pursuits. I heard the screams of those you call experiments for the last time. My own soul is sullied, that I know, and yet I still cannot bear to strike down my own kin. I will do the only thing I can. I will lock you here and keep the world safe from your sick desires. May you find some peace in your madness during the centuries of solitude that now awaits you. Eternally regretful, your mother. The whole land, many people get bruised and thrown about, but you find there are strange noises in your village at night. As you prepare to go to sleep and take one last look out of the windows, you You fail to get rid of the rat infestation in time. The vermin eat through all your food supplies, and some of your people fall ill as well.